Hello everyone, Samadan here. Today I'd like to just talk a little bit about TSM, Trade Skill Master. Now I talked about this briefly in one of my other videos about enchanting, but I wanted to go through what I did when I first started and I was trying to learn about the market. I had no idea what sold, what didn't sell, and how often they sold. So my question was, how can I find out a list, like a database of everything that sells, and can I somehow change it so that I can order it and see what sells most and what sells least, and then from there work out what I could create and then make some money on the auction house. So as I said in my other video, Trade Skill Master is the add-on that you definitely need. So I would encourage you to create a free account and then install all the WoW add-ons and the desktop applications, and that's where you've got everything linked up and your auctioning's all ready to go. The other thing I found out is that if you go into the Getting Help section, and then in here it talked about the public web API. Now I was intrigued by this, so I delved a little bit further, and in here it talks about the actual being able to access all the stats for your server, which is perfect for me. So you click on here and then you get the public Trade Skill Master API. From here you can make a query on the stats for every item for a specific realm, which is exactly what I needed. I just needed a dump of the database so I could work out what I could create and craft and sell. In here, now there is a limit on this. You can only do it 25 times per day. You don't want to be spamming their server with all this database querying. And the other thing you need to do is you need to put in your API key, which is up here. You can get your API key by clicking on this link here. So if you haven't logged in already, it will ask you to log in. I'm going to blur this out so that you can't see my login details. Once you've logged in, you can go down here, and at the bottom it's going to be blurred out because I don't want you to see my API key. Yours will be unique. You can see here the API key. So you just simply copy that and then go back to your API query window and paste in your API key here. Once you've gotten your API key, you then go down, and then I'll just need to put a few queries in for your realm. So I love a good spreadsheet, me. So what I wanted to export this into a format that I could then bring into something like Excel. I don't have Excel, I have like the cheap free version, which is called OpenOffice. I think it might be called LibreOffice now. One of those two will work. So I changed a few things in here. I changed the content type to text CSV, which is comma separated values, so I knew I could import that into a spreadsheet. And then in format, I went with CSV again. The realm, which obviously you need to put in your realm, so I put in mine, which is Shadow Song. And then the region for me, which is EU. And then I clicked try it out. So it then did a query of the database and gave me a dump of everything that, all the stats. Here we go, the response body is here. All this list here you can see is a massive list, comma separated values of every single item in the game and how much it sells for on my realm and what the region sell rate is. That's an important thing to remember, it's the region sell rate. So that's the rate of EU or US, whichever region you're in. But that doesn't matter because you can use that as a gauge and you can see what's good for your server and what's not. There's a couple of ways you could get this CSV file out. You could select all of this text. You could like simply left click that and then go right down to the bottom and left click at the end. Not quite at the end there, so probably there. And then you could right click, copy all of that and paste it into something like Notepad. Or you can go to this URL which has been generated, select all of that, copy that. Actually, no, you can just go to. You can see here, I'm going to blur this out, but it's got my API key in here, and it's got my server in here. Yours will be different for your server. And then you've got the list of everything here, and you can simply go save as, and then save that down. Let's pop this into our downloads and call this shadowsong. Change that to .csv. So now that that's been saved, I will then import that into something like Excel or the cheap version, OpenOffice. So it wants to know how to import this. Well, I'm going for separated with commas. As you can see here, it's got a preview. It shows you exactly what everything's going to look like. Click OK, and I bring it into my spreadsheet of choice. And here you go. There's a massive list. You've got the item ID, the name of it, type, the level, and then all the way down to the right, the important information, the region average daily sold, and the region sale rate. So a quick and easy way of just reordering this is to select the column region sale rate and put it in reverse order, sort descending. Then I'll ask to extend the selection, so I don't just want to order this column, I want to do everything related to it, so it all stays in the same order. I'll then go extend selection, and that's reordered everything. You can see here we've got quite a few that are region sale rate of 1. Now, if you think about this database, it's not got only just the latest details, it's got the details of everything that's ever sold. So bear in mind that like something might have been really popular a while ago that isn't necessarily popular now. And there's things you can do to identify those. If I go up here and find something that's got a region sale rate of 1, I suspect anything with a region sale rate of 1 is probably skewed somehow. And you can see here, like the historical price is 0 and the number of auctions is 0. So chances are they either weren't implemented or there's some weird item, or either way, you know it's probably not going to be something that you could readily get hold of. These are all, they're just called class consumable food and drinks. You go down here, there's not really got any of the, what have we got here? I got no idea what these are or whether they're good. So the key thing to do here is really, I think, take anything with a sale rate of 1 out. As you can see here, from this point onwards, this is a more realistic sale rate. So I'm going to select from that column. I'm trying to filter this list into something that's more manageable, something that I can easily see what's going to be useful and what's not. So I'll go to the top, hold shift down, select all of those and delete those rows. I'm not going to be interested in those for now. There may be something I've missed, but for now I'm just trying to look for things that I can make and I can work on. So we can take out some of these columns. For instance, vendor buy and vendor sell, probably not going to be useful at this stage. The market value and min buyout are for your realm, which is useful. It's also useful to have a look at the quantity and number of auctions, because this will help you spot things that are no longer selling or are so rare that they're just kind of skewing the market. You can see here, these three have all got a market value of 0, min buyout of 0, quantity of 0, num auctions of 0, historical price of 0. So they're likely to be skewing your results. So you can go through and just delete things that you spot like that. There's another one there. I delete that and I delete those. I'm looking for stuff that's current. You can see there's quite a few of them, especially we're just looking in the ones that are in the higher sale rate of kind of like in the 0.8s all the way down to like the kind of like the 0.1s, 0.2s. So these are the top sellers of in the realm. So these are the things that you could look at and go, okay, well I can make that, or I could go and farm that. So let's go out and get those. And then I know that they're going to sell quite rapidly because they're in the in a high region sale rate, and I know that they're on my server because I can see some auctions for them. So with that kind of bearing in mind, you can actually work out, okay, what am I going to make? So let's have a look. What else have we got here? So a pickled guppy, for some reason, comes top of the list. But again, we got no quantities there, so that's probably, that one's probably not useful. That one's probably not useful. Tiger opal, puzzle ring. You can see there, there's no auctions of these, so they're most likely going to be skewing our results. Ravager dog. You can start looking at things a bit more detail now. You can say, okay, that's item level 55. Is that really current now? Probably not. There are 7 on the auction house, so maybe, but maybe not. If you know how to make one, then maybe you could try it out. This is all about learning the market. I'm going to take this whole chunk out here down to that one and delete all of those because they don't look like they're relevant. I'm going to take out these ones because they don't look relevant. Now I understand I may be missing things, but when you don't know what sells, you've got to use something to get an idea as to what sells and what doesn't. And for me, I tried the transmog market first, and that moved really, really slowly for me, especially on a low pop server. So I wanted stuff that was going to shift fast. And you can start seeing things here like Arcana and Chaos Crystals and Imperium are actually, they've got a decent sale rate now. Now Imperium's quite new. Hexweave bags, I know that are an older Garrison's crafting. So you can tell here by looking at the level, if something's got a low level, then there's a chance that it isn't current anymore. So if it's got a higher level, like 100 to 110, chances are it's more related to Legion stuff. So there's a chance that it's going to sell more frequently. What else have we got here? Well, just looking at this, the first sort of first 30. Let's just take off a few more that are probably not useful. And we'll look at, say, the top 50 once I've taken these out. Take those out, and then do a few more down below, because this is going to, not that one, that one. Take those out, delete those rows. So now when we look at this list of the top 30, you can say, okay, well, let's have a look at this list. Is there anything that I can do? Let's move the region sale rate. Let's cut that and put it right down at the beginning here so we can see their insert columns. There we go. So we can see the region sale rate right next to the ID. So let's have a look. All these ones have got a region sale rate quite high. So you could look at this and you could say, okay, well, Netherweave bags. Can I make those? Well, it's probably a tailoring recipe. It's level 63, so it's probably been skewed by older expansions that have boosted up the sell rate. They may still sell, they may not. So if you're a tailor and you can make that, then make a couple, put them on, and try it. Potion of prolonged power. That sounds like an alchemy thing. Ravager dog, no idea what that does. Hexweave bags, I know those are Garrison bags, which are currently the biggest slot bags, even though the Legion bags are the same size. These ones seem to be more popular, but that's just one thing I've picked up through learning over these past 3 months. Silk, one I'm very familiar with because I buy a lot of that, and it still sells. So if you ever have any silk, you know it will sell quickly because it's got a region sell rate of 0.73. So look at your character, look at what you can make, look at what you can do, and look at what you can farm or where you're going and what you're doing. Look what you got in your bags and have a look at this list and see if there's anything you recognize. I know it's still massive, but for me, it was a good way of just working out, well, I've got no idea what does sell, so I don't know what to put on. But by using this, I was able to at least have a look and analyze the top sellers and go, okay, well, there's a few things here that I know I could make. You have a look at the prices. Remember, these prices are gold, silver, and copper, so you could take the last sort of 4 digits off, and that's the actual gold price. Look at how many there are, look how many auctions there are, and you don't really need to look at the region quantity or historical price unless you want to just kind of like do a little cross compare with your server versus others. Like say the region quantity here is 15, whereas on my server I know it's 7, so I know I'm slightly less. So there's little things you can look at like that, and you can look at the average daily sold. So that's a number that are sold each day. So you know that the big numbers, things like this, 5,800 Starlight Rose, so that's one of the herbs you gather. So there's going to be loads of those on the market. Now some of those might be bots, some of those might be other players, but if you're running around and you've got herbalism and you're questing, that might be a useful thing to get. So this for me was the best way to look and try to understand the market, because that's what everyone says when you're just starting out making gold. Well, how do I start? And everyone says, well, understand the market. And I go, yeah, but how? I don't know anything. So this is for me how I looked it up, and I then started to understand the market. Well, I started small. I started what I knew. So I looked at things to do with enchanting, or I looked at things to do with tailoring. So if you start small and focus your knowledge on there, and then you can grow it from there. I mean, I've only been doing this for 3 months now, and I've slowly and steadily worked up from 0 gold to I'm currently at something like 820,000 gold in the past 3 months, and I bought 3 WoW tokens in that time as well. So it is doable. Just take your time, learn a few things slowly to start off with, and then as you get to understand your little area, then you can expand and try something else out, and from there and there you'll just end up earning money. Remember, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So it does take a bit of effort, and it takes a bit of kind of like self-evaluation. What skills have you got? What do you enjoy doing? You know, do you like going to old dungeons and farming? Do you like collecting herbs? Do you like crafting things? Do you like raiding? Do what's fun for you, and then find a way to leverage that into doing something that can sell to make money. If you want to use that money for something like WoW tokens, or you want to buy that special mount that you've always been lusting after, the choice is yours. This is just one way of having a look and trying to understand the market. I think I've probably rambled on for quite a while now. If you found that useful, brilliant. Please don't spam the TSM API too much. You've got your API key in there anyway that will limit you. I think I'll make mine available somehow, and then I'll put that in the comments once I've made it available, so you can just download mine. I know it's for the Shadowsong server, but at least you'll get an idea. And from there, good luck.